What do you do if you've got a team pressurized to drop quality by the product owner or the business? Tip number 1, create meaning to the dysfunction. Talking to somebody in the business about unit tests or solid principles or the importance of baking quality into software, I'm not sure it's gonna really stick. So think about talking to the things that do mean something to that business owner. Hey, product owner, that last release we did, you know, that feature that we dropped that caused those delays and upset those customers, I think we could have avoided that had we had slowed down and done these things. Product owner, well, why didn't we do it? It would have taken a little longer, and we want a little bit of support on doing the right things when we deliver our work. Speak to the things that mean something to the business or the product owner. Number 2, offer metaphors. I do this all the time. This is a way of helping somebody who may not be from a technology background understand what the impact could be of not baking quality into the work that we're delivering. There's lots out there in the Agile community in terms of metaphor. One that I like is, it could take 10 minutes to make an omelette for our customers. But if we don't clean our kitchen as we go, it's then gonna take 30 to 40 minutes and our customers are not gonna be happy with that wait and that delay. Product owner, well, what do we need to do? We need to make sure that we clean as we go. What does that translate into? Refactoring. Okay, so what does that mean? It may mean that when we are talking about estimating work, that refactoring is part of it, and we'd like your support to make that happen. It might also mean that the kitchen is currently in such a bad state that we need to close the doors and we need to do a proper cleanup. Okay, what does that translate into? It means that we may need a week, which might not be ideal, but to get the shop in order. Tip number 3, offer practical ideas. You're talking about the need to slow down to baking quality, yada, yada, yada. Show them where that can manifest. Hey, product owner, so what this means is in our sprint planning meeting, when we're thinking about the work that we can take on the sprint, we want to create some space for some of that refactoring stuff or some of that technical debt stuff or some of the stuff under the bonnet that we would like to do to make sure that we don't end up with a rewrite in 3 to 5 years, or we don't end up deploying something that's going to go bang in production. Tip number 4. This should have been tip number 1. Sounds a bit like Biggie Smalls, if you know Biggie Smalls is, right? So what I'm talking about here is take it outside. Now, I'm not saying go outside and get into a wrestling match with your product owner. I'm talking about come away from the team. Sometimes it can feel like you're challenging somebody's authority and a dynamic may not be conducive to a good conversation in front of the team. Take it outside, make it personal. Understand where the product owner's coming from. Show empathy if they are being rushed or there isn't an aggression for commercial deliverables, which is very, very normal. By taking them outside, helping them feel safe, speak to them about what you need to provide value for that team. So having that space between you and the PO can really create a quality conversation. And yes, there may need to be some give and take. Tip number 5, personal integrity. If you was a coach in a football team and you knew that the players were playing in a way whereby they were going to get injured, I don't know if you feel that's going to work for your conscience. This is very personal. If you're in a restaurant and you know that food isn't being cooked in a way whereby, you put out food whereby people may get food poisoning, that might sound a bit dramatic, but the same way, if you know that customers are paying money for a certain product and it's going to go out and it may then require a rewrite or a lot more money for them to be satisfied or even delighted, this is something to think about. I find when I think about my personal integrity, it gives me more confidence to be assertive, and it reminds me of why I'm doing what I do as a coach. Thanks for watching. I hope those tips are useful. More to come.